Hello. I guess it's about time, huh? Whew. Through the power of voodoo, black magic, maybe some death threats, I will not admit or deny anything, I have decided to have a buddy of mine who's watched the show that this game is a literal tie-in to.
Shit. What? What? Wait. What?
You heard me.
What?
We're talking about Fatal Bullet and probably the anime, because it's impossible to talk about one without the other. Depressingly. Now, for my buddy here, he has not played the game. And I'm going to do something merciful. Something that should definitely get me knighted by the Queen of England a couple thousand times. And probably get me sainthood. Despite the fact that I am the farthest thing from a saint. Fatal Bullet is literally the tie-in to the anime. What's more is to probably the second worst arc of the entire show, my boy. It's a tie-in to Gun Gale. The Gun Gale. And now my dogs bark, of course. Oh well.
Cracking is on. Give me a second. Must reposition.
Oh no. He has to reposition. Oh no. Oh no. Oh well.
Stuff open. Sweet.
And it does something with kind of eliminates the weird checkered background too. Convenient.
Done.
Very convenient. And I'm definitely gonna
So,
leave
by
this
the
in.
power of black magic, voodoo, and blackmail, I am here.
Yes.
Lord, Scrub Manchu.
Now, I'm gonna tell you the one and only good instant of the entire game. All 120 hours. No, that was not completionist. It's the first 10 seconds of the game. Do you want to know why?
Sure. I wouldn't
Because
mind knowing.
the first 10 seconds, you get to make your own character. Your own MC. And the character creator is not bad. In fact, it is far better than what I've ever could have expected from them. Ever. You're not playing as Kirito. You're not playing as one of his many pocket pussies. You're not playing as his forgettable friends.
But everyone needs pockets.
You're playing as your own main character. Or at least, that's how it should have been. That's the way it kind of needed to be. Now, granted, I don't like the idea of Kirito in any of the games. I don't like his buddies in any of the games. Would you like to know why?
Because Kirito really isn't that interesting of a character in a video game. He may be okay in anime, but it isn't translated that well to games.
Here's the thing, and this is the messed up part. Even though I half agree, he's not an interesting character. But here's the thing, to me, he's not a likable character. He's not a good character. He's not a well-written character. He is a character whose literal entire writing is based solely on, I'm the only one allowed to be a good dude. I'm the only one allowed to have anyone interested in me. I'm the only one allowed to be helpful, productive, useful. I'm the only one allowed to have real hardcore plot armor. And I'm the only one
Goku
allowed...
syndrome.
Huh?
So Goku syndrome. From Dragon Ball, you know?
Actually,
Sounds
no.
like Goku.
No. Do you know why? Goku
No,
doesn't
why?
screw every single chick. Kirito does. Kirito is married and has countless girls on his dick. Countless. Do you know how many characters wind up with one of the more pointless characters like Token Black Dude or Samurai Wannabe? Do you know how many? 0. No female ever goes after either of those two characters ever. Yet magically, every other male character besides those two aside from maybe a dude in the new season, the newest one that came out, which I couldn't be paid to watch. It gets worse. Every single male character is one of these things. There's literally, almost excessively, this trope is used. The male characters introduced are either A, psychotic, or B, a rapist. I literally cannot use my entire hand to count how many male characters that aren't the MC or his friends. And I use air quotes because they don't get treated like friends. Let me paint a picture for you. Does this sound like a friend to you? You show your friend you've gotten, through the power of BS, you've gotten the rarest food you could possibly get, ever. You're talking with someone now in front of this buddy, blatantly, that this person's going to go and cook you this food. You have more than enough to make an extra for a third person. But instead, you decide, I'm just going to give you a review. That review isn't going to be anything more than about a page or two. And you say this to your friend with a smile on your face, and you follow through with it. Look, you and me haven't met in the real world. If I get some legendary bomb-ass food right in front of you, no less, and show it to you, I'm taking you to have that food with me. I don't care if I got to hold...
Trip, and I would love to appreciate that.
I don't care if I got to hold Ramsey at gunpoint for it. Alright? If my homie, alright, if my buddy and me are talking about food one moment, and then we find someone who's willing to cook that food when he and I can't cook to save our lives, which thankfully for me isn't necessary since I actually love cooking, thankfully. But here's the thing though. I'm not going to go have this conversation with them, turn around, find someone who's going to cook that food for us, and then screw you out of the deal. You were with me talking to me when it came to that food. Come hell or high water, you're going to get to eat that food with me. Alright? That's a real friend. A real friend doesn't, show you this amazing thing you're only going to be able to experience once in your life and then say, oh, by the way, F you. No, not a real friend does that. Much less someone who's supposed to come across as a bro. Which is the image they try to paint. They try to paint this picture between Kirito and these two friends that they're tight and that they're bros. But the problem is, though, is it doesn't come across that way because of the way Kirito treats them. Despite the fact that they seem to love him and worship the ground he walks on. It doesn't help that the female characters are worse. So much worse. The female characters, even the ones that at first have a personality, like some that don't really like Kirito or the way he does things, which is normal. How many times have I said something you hated? How many times have I made you question why the F you talk to me? How many times? I'm sure there's at least one. Like 5 minutes ago when I brought up pocket pussies. I'm pretty sure you didn't want that mental image, right?
No, I can date one very specific one in a video, and it was the last video that we recorded before we started live streaming Breath of the Wild. It was essentially just he kept mentioning the word pussy.
I think I lost count of how many times I brought that up. Granted, it was a little funny on my end, but probably not so much funny for you, probably. Since you're the one who's channeled
considering I try to be slightly reserved, yes. Also, I just want to point out, Kirito's philosophy must be hoes before bros.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it's not even like it's like they're realizing something about him that's charming or something like that. It's not written that way. That's the problem, is that and normally I love the idea of just romance right at the bat being like solidified. Like, you know how there's an anime where it's like it goes will they, won't they for like 16,000 episodes, for crying out loud. And it gets tedious. This is one actually did the one smart thing in the anime. It made it so that they're married, episode 3. Great! That's a great decision. That was actually probably the best, and sadly enough, the last good moment of writing.
Now watch Kirito screw over that with every other woman he meets.
Every woman. There's like, I can only count one. Don't remind me. I have to talk about that one later.
Good God.
Because it doesn't help that they try to make it seem like she realizes how gross that is. And it's not even. I mean, in their defense, it's cousin. Japan doesn't really see what's wrong with that. Now, granted, to me, the real problem isn't that it's cousin, because it's like if it's cousin-in-law or step cousin, you're like still gross, but I can ignore it if everything else is good, right? If everything else about it is good, you can ignore the one blemish if it's small.
If they're a literal 10 out of 10, maybe.
But the thing is, though, it isn't. That's what makes it worse, is that it isn't. It's not some 10 out of 10 great writing. It's not some immaculate thing that has great animations, great this, great... No. That's the biggest problem, is it's... Even if it had been exactly what I assumed it was going to be when it first aired on the first arc, I assumed it was going to be a ripoff of an already existing, pretty much the same show, but did everything better in every way, pretty much. Even its writing, which is hilarious, because I've always touted it as having mediocre writing with some high potential. And that's Dot Hack. Dot Hack came long before SAO.
Well, the Dot Hack series in general.
Is like, and it doesn't matter if we try and look at the books, the shows, the games, all of them came long before, and ironically enough, they all did the formula better. There are other anime...
with Dot Hack Sign, myself.
I started with Twilight Princess, which released back in the 90s. I was practically there for the first anime episode ever made. So
Twilight
believe
Princess,
me when
sounds
I
like
say...
Zelda to me.
Oh, it's kind... Well, it depends on what aspect you look at. It can change pretty heavily. Like, for example, the way the magic is handled, you would swear it was a little bit like Zelda. But then you see the actual way that it's written, and it's kind of different. Granted, not always in the best ways. Not always in the best of ways. But you see, the thing is, SAO's biggest problems, ironically enough, stem from two things. Its MC and its writer. It's not that there's no potential in them, it's that all the potential that's there is being held back because Reki's an idiot who should have instead been working at the local McDonald's, or McDonald's in this case. Which is kind of sad. In middle school, I had seen enough people do enough writing to feel confident in saying that most middle schoolers can outpace him in creativity, while most high schoolers and college students can outpace him in understanding and logic. Which is kind of sad, because you're supposed to be a professional. This is supposed to be your job, and yet it feels like you would have been better off at some random middle of nowhere restaurant instead. Now, the game. Fatal Bullet, as I stated, and this is probably its biggest gross problem. It is literally a one-for-one tie-in to the anime. Everything else that was added that was completely its own and unique was pretty much immediately killed, dissected, re-put together, haphazardly without any brain cells, and then killed again.
What I'm hearing is watch the anime, don't play the game. You'll get less hours and have more enjoyment.
Yes and no. You'll get less hours. I don't know if you get more enjoyment. Which is kind of laughable to me. It's many of the same problems that were in Gun Gale are in Fatal Bullet. You know who the big bad is right off the drop. You know exactly what everyone's motivation is. You are also kind of put on a pedestal for no reasons. And then Kirito's also brought in to be on a bigger pedestal for no reason, really. It's the same issue of you have this MC, you brought in a new NPC that you yourself made. So of course you're going to become attached to the character. You're attached to your avatar, aren't you? You made it, right?
spent 8 hours on it, and I want to show it off.
And it's a good avatar. He has every right to be proud of what he made.
I'm totally fucking proud of Scrub Lord Manchu.
See? He's proud. He should be. He made it. He made it so it matched what he liked. Of course he's going to latch onto it and love it. So when you're playing as your own MC, you want to feel like it's either you or that you are kind of awesome because you made him awesome. You put in the effort. You played the game enough to the point where you made him go from nothing to a badass. You're supposed to feel that way, but I don't. I never did. Why? Because someone who's already saved the world is already there anyways. I have no purpose. I have no real relevance. I don't really matter at all. My MC is just kind of shoehorned in so he can be another one of Kirito's friends who get screwed over, ignored, and kind of forgotten of. Then, like I said...
Basically, what they did was they had you make your character, but you're making the side character, not the main character. The main character's already made and in the story. What the fuck is the point of it?
Thank you.
Like, come on.
It's the saddest part because there's so much potential, though. That's what really hurts. That's why the 10 seconds is so amazing. You make this character. You have the scene where you're carving your way through better players. Better players. You're going up against robots who are shooting at you, and you can clearly tell you're supposed to feel like a noob. And at first, you feel that way. You feel like a punk scrub who's never played the game before. And that's how that part should feel. The problem is, though, is that all the difficulty you realize later is crap. Do you know why the game's so difficult and took me 120 hours? Would you like to know? Because it's not happy. It's not good. It's not pleasant. And your voice cuts out a lot, I notice.
Apologies. I can see you're probably just going to say that already, so go ahead.
The big reason the game's so difficult is because you have to rely on yourself and nothing else. You can't rely on your allies' AI. You have 3 allies. And I feel like I'm playing by myself with no allies at all. I set my character that I got to create 2 characters, which was cool again. I get to create my own character twice. One who is supposed to have been the MC. The other one who was supposed to be his main, most used support. And Arphasis. Now, it basically means artificial system. And some other crap scrabbled in. Not that it matters. It's pretty much rendered neutered halfway through anyways, so whatever. Arphasis, you get to customize it. You get to customize its look and even how it fights. I want you to let that sink. You get to customize the way you fight and your backup.
That sounds like a game that I've played that has great combat, an iffy story, but it's still fun in the end. Dragon's Dogma.
Because guess what? While it isn't exactly it, it takes one of the best things from it. And I do mean...
I accidentally pressed the wrong button. And we're back! Apologies, folks. Wrong button. Wrong button.
And I do mean the best part about Dragon's Dogma was I got to have this one piece of backup that I could always rely on to counter what my weaknesses were. Here's the problem, though. While you can customize that character's way of doing things, for example, I played aggressively. For the first half of the game, I was using an effing minigun. And sometimes a rocket launcher as well.
Ooh, heavy weapons.
I then eventually
heavy
switched...
weapons, man, on the field.
I sadly, though, did eventually realize that the minigun's kind of trash compared to just dual-wielding 2 assault rifles. Like, I had the same output, but I was having, like, a fraction of the reload. So, and just go. Which broke the game. Let me make you that clear. The game's balancing sucks already. It's too easy to break it.
Why work harder when you can work smarter?
I normally agree with that sentence, but this is the one time where it's like, I don't want that sentence to reign true. I'm supposed to be some some nobody who's just starting the game, going up against people who have played the game for who knows how long. And I can destroy everybody. Even opponents who are 5, 10, sometimes even 15 levels above me. All I need to do is dual wield some assault rifles, and it's over.
You know, that just kind of reminds me of the SAO anime, where it's just like a battle royale. It's the Pink Bunny, and she's got her one fucking SMG, and she destroys everyone.
I haven't seen that anime because after the original Gun Gale, I was fed up. I was just done.
I would suggest you give it a watch. It's actually half decent.
I have heard that, but I'm still so scared to be like, because you gotta remember the initial arc, the very first SAO season. I was actually excited at first. I was expecting it to be, even if at worst, I expected it to be a ripoff of a show I liked anyways.
Let me just say this straight up. It has no Kirito. It has none of Kirito's friends.
That is comforting.
Oh, that's a bonus.
That is a very comforting thing, because God, do I hate Kirito. I hate him. I kind of hate his friends, although I didn't at first. It was once they turned into just pointless, meaningless crap. Again, just in case you couldn't tell just how meaningless they are, one of them, supposedly one of his bros, I literally can't remember his name. I can't even remember his features. I can't remember his personality. I literally can only remember him by Token Black Dude.
Oh, I remember him from the abridged version. Now, that was an interesting character in the abridged version.
I sadly have not watched the abridged version entirely. Mostly because I'm still very upset, very punchy, a little stabby.
Well, if you want to get back into it, I suggest it's by something witty.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. All this already sounds bad, but you gotta remember there's still some worse problems. One I hinted at heavily, and even lightly brushed over. Ally AI. I set my ally to focus on revival. I also had her focus on healing. Makes sense, right? I'm playing aggressive. I'm going to want a healer. Especially since most every character that you get introduced to, because in the Fatal Bullet there's only 4 or 5 unique characters to the story. You heard me, 4 or 5 as opposed to Kirito and Co. who have dozens. I repeat, dozens. You gotta remember You gotta remember all of his pocket pussies. You gotta remember his 2 neglected dudes who don't really matter ever. And you also gotta remember that the only ones who are allowed to be really strong are Kirito, pocket pussy number 1. I can't remember her name anymore.
Asuna?
Yeah, that chick.
I only remember her because of her abridged counterpart.
This abridged better be good or I'm gonna cry.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
Because I remember watching like a small function of it because I was on my way to leave somewhere. I think it was like to go get food or some crap, so I didn't watch it or finish it. I just got like first like couple moments of episode 1. I was just like, oh, I gotta go. Dang it. Oh well. And then left.
All right, well, you know the redhead that he meets in the first series?
Yeah, pocket pussy number 2. Sorry,
no, the guy.
Oh, the dude.
The first guy that he meets.
Samurai Wannabe.
Yeah. In the abridged version, he's called Balls Deep 69. That's the kind of humor you're in for.
That gives me a bit of comfort because like I said, I was just like, I was excited at first for the show, and then I was just disappointed pretty much from episode 4 onwards. So then I was disgusted in the second arc. Fairy rape. Yay. Molestation. Yay.
Yeah, I hated that character a lot.
I mean, I hated him, but I didn't hate him for the right reasons. I only hated him because they forced me to hate him. Not because I actually wanted to or felt like I should.
The moment he started licking Asuna, I tuned out of his scenes at all times.
Yeah. I forced myself to...
I don't need to see that.
I I hate it when a character is forced to be something. They're not written well. They're not made to be that because of some good reason. They're just that way because the writer wanted it to be that way. Like
We need a bad guy for this week. Who is it gonna be? This random person. But who's gonna be this the evil overarching villain? This one guy. Let's make him a 10 out of 10 evil bastard.
And not even because of good writing. Not because you feel something like he's evil because he wants to do this evil thing. I swear to you, they put this molestation and this rape and this grossness before the actual freaking thing that makes him evil. Do you know what his big objective was?
He, if I remember correctly, just wants Asuna's father's shit, and to get that, he needs to marry her, and then he's gonna kill her and get her father's shit.
You are half right, but also half wrong.
He
had another goal above that. His big goal above that was to learn how to control people's minds and heart. Mind control. And he wanted to sell it to the biggest, fattest pocket he could. But that thing is so...
pocket pussy.
That's the problem, though. Is that he has an evil plan that, mind you, is brilliant and evil as all hell.
It's undermined by his personality.
And not even done well, to make it worse. He's undermined by his personality. Then he's further undermined by how garbage the writing is. Then he's further undermined yet again by the fact they try to sweep all that under the rug moments later to go back to the rape part. Again. That's not good writing. That's just you being cheap.
Yeah, if your one defining trait is, hey, there's this young girl, I want to do things to her, that's not a character.
No.
At least not one any of us want to watch.
And we even less want to watch these things when they're so blatantly forced. It's Goblin Slayer is a great example. That first scene on the first episode, it's terrible, it's disgusting, you don't like it, you don't really want to watch it. But you know why you continue to watch it? Because of how well it's written.
Actually, I kind of dropped out the moment that happened, so I'm kind of the opposite on that.
Well, if you stick around to episode 2, it gets better. Surprisingly. Which surprised me. When I heard title Goblin Slayer in that first scene, I was just like, oh, this is not okay. Like,
yeah, considering we're talking about general spoilers and shit for shows that are already been on air for a decent amount of time, and Goblin Slayer for months, so... And it was popular, so if you hadn't watched it like I did past episode 1, or if you haven't watched it all, spoiler here, the adventurers die, and one of them is raped by Goblin Dick.
Yeah. It starts off... Granted, I don't think it starts off on a great foot. I mean,
it falls to the wall, that episode.
I do not think that Goblin Slayer started on the right foot, to be frank with you. I don't. I don't think your first episode should contain gangbang by goblins.
It did set the tone, though.
It depressingly did. And I practically forced myself at gunpoint to finish it. And I'm kind of in a way glad I did a little bit.
You shouldn't have to, though.
You shouldn't. He's right. You should never have to force yourself at gunpoint to freaking watch a show. Alright, you should actually want to because you like it, or because it's intriguing, or because of the art style, the music, something other than gunpoint.
And shameless plug for a sweet-ass anime I'm currently watching that has all the stuff that you wouldn't need to pull a gun to your face for, and that is the new Pitch Black for Pacific Rim. The new Pacific Rim anime. I just watched, like, the first few episodes, and I still want to binge the rest of it.
I haven't watched it
yet.
It's
so awesome.
I didn't know it was available yet. Now that I know that, I'm like, okay,
it's got 7 episodes. I suggest that maybe you watch it. When you're done watching it, do a fucking video on it.
There's very possible, because I loved the original. Well, I loved the first Pacific Rim movie.
Let's put it this way: if you love Pacific Rim 1 and you thought 2 was you'll love fucking the anime.
That's exactly how it went for
But
me.
we did get off topic. I do apologize. I just needed to plug that so people can know it's here and watch it.
I'm actually glad
So
you plugged it because I didn't know it was available yet. I thought that
Yeah,
wasn't until like next year.
Yeah.
So
The YouTuber Altiori made a video on episode 1, so I was like, holy hell, I'm gonna watch it.
now I know what I'm gonna be doing. I already have to watch all of Attack on Titan. I have to do that too.
Dude, it's about 20 minutes an episode. You could knock that out in less than a day.
Yeah. I'm gonna plead the fifth
Shameless
'cause
plug,
it's
people.
good.
Shameless plug.
But yeah, so it's something to bring up as well because it's also the only other good thing and I had to dig for good. All right, I had to dig. I had to take like a couple billion bombs, TNTs, and shovels to find something good.
Don't forget that Minecraft Diamond Pickaxe.
I need a couple 100,000 of those just to find something good. 100,000 Minecraft Diamond Pickaxes to find something good. That should never be the case. Ever. Oh my god. When it comes down to it, it has these two tiny things that are actually really well done, even if one of them can get a bit tedious. Boss fights are actually probably the coolest part of the entire game. Fighting the fodder gets tedious and boring really quickly because they kind of just don't do much. Hey, headshot! That's dead. Oh, I'm dueling 2 freaking AKs? Everything's dead.
That doesn't sound too fun.
You know,
I'll
bosses, while they're bullet sponges, which kind of sucks, if you aim for weak spots, it's a little bit better. Furthermore, if you dual wield AKs, then it's finally like okay, we're 2 giant, massive titans duking it out to see who's best. But you shouldn't have to use a specific method to make them fun, though. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's really fun when I force myself to do this, but it can be boring as all hell otherwise. Which sucks.
Basically, to have fun, you have to go out of your way to play worse.
Well, not worse. Not necessarily worse, because if you use the dual-wielding assault rifles, you're literally immortal. Anything that is not a boss cannot kill you. Nothing can kill you if you're not a boss. Yay! Which, I mean, like I said, makes fodder fights complete trash. It does make boss fights, though, finally more fun, because now it's not taking you forever to kill it. Because if you use just like a pistol, just a single pistol, you're going to be there for hours on end, even though the boss is like only a level away from you. 1 level. Granted, don't dual wield rocket launchers if you're going to be fighting the fodders, because some of them will like matrix dodge out of your freaking pathway, which kind of sucks.
Rockets go boom.
Yeah, rockets go boom. They have long reload. They don't always cover a giant chunk of the area either.
So basically, rockets go boom, but so does your health.
Yeah. Your health's going to go fast, and it's not even for a reason that you're going to feel comfortable or happy about. The reason why is because the grenade launchers, trash. Yeah, they'll do great damage against opponents who are staying still. But how many opponents are staying still? Pretty much none. Even, like, I'll give them credit. The ally AI sucks, and I'll get into that. But first, the enemy AI is actually sort of okay-ish. Is it groundbreaking, amazing, spectacular, or even good? Hell no. Is it passable, though? Barely. It all depends on what you fight. Do you fight fodders or bosses? Bosses, passable. Fodder, hell no. Hell no. Furthermore, this is something that's ludicrous to me. But I'll get into it as soon as I talk about Ally AI, which I keep trying to bring up, but getting off topic. When it comes to Ally AI, it is unmitigated, worthless trash. I'm gonna have to stand up and show you guys my PJ pants to show you how bad it is. When they're doing this, running against a leg, against the opponent's leg, how often do you think they live?
Not long.
No. One swipe. One singular swipe. Just one. That's my character the freaking bonus character I made for the specific purpose of her reviving and healing only. She dies. Over and over and over. Running against their leg as if they're against invisible walls. Ignore the fact that if you go half a mile that way or half a mile that way, there's no enemies. Do you know what that means? There's literally a limitless path, a giant aft plane for them to work with to go around the enemy to heal or revive. They don't do that. They run forwards against the leg. Sometimes they'll throw in a dodge roll against their leg, resulting them in dodge rolling against an invisible wall. They don't dodge roll to the sides. They dodge roll forward. That's not the end of it either. Their AI is so bad that even when they're standing right in front of you to revive you, they will instead dodge roll pointlessly in a random direction. There's no enemy nearby. No one's shooting at them. They will dodge roll over your body. Without fail. They do this at level 5. They do this at level 15. They do this at level 35. They do this at level 99. They do this at a level 110. They do this constantly, consistently, over and over. Doesn't matter how much room or space they have to go around the enemy, they don't. They stand there, running in place, dodge rolling in place. I've lost count of how many times I've actually gotten a game over, not because I am weak, not because they are low in level, not because my gear sucks or because their gear sucks, because the AI is so bad. I've lost count. I have lost count out of my 120 some odd hours it took me to finish that game because of how often I was compensating for my allies' AI being so trash. Does that sound fun to you? Having to compensate for your ally AI being so trash out of 120 hours doing it almost every hour on the hour.
I've played games like that. I wish I could get my money back.
Yeah. This is a game I spent nothing on. I rented it. But the saddest part is, even with that knowledge that I rented it, I still feel robbed. I still feel disrespected. I still feel like my money was taken even though it wasn't. That's how bad the game is.
I felt like that recently, what with my purchase of Dead Island and Dead Island 2 Riptide, for the purpose of a playthrough. Because of its bugs, I can't even do that with my friend. I know that being burned by a purchase.
I don't know if you know this game. Have you ever heard of Sonic Freeriders?
Freeriders.
Freeriders. It is viewed as probably one of the worst Sonic games.
Is that the first game where they're on like futuristic skateboards, or the second one?
The first.
I like that one.
The problem is, though, it didn't function at release. At all. At all.
At least I think. Was it for the GameCube?
No.
Then no, I did not play that one.
If I remember correctly, it
No,
released for
Free
the...
Riders. I played Sonic Riders.
No, no. Riders, if I
Riders
remember
was good.
correctly, came before. I'm probably
Free
wrong.
Riders was I think Xbox 360 Connect exclusive. Do I have that right?
I think it was either an exclusive or released on PlayStation as well. The PlayStation...
No, it required the
no,
fucking
no.
PlayStation
Yeah, no, it was
Connect.
on the... It was exclusive, that's right.
So it was 360.
Yeah, it was exclusive, that's right.
Required Connect.
Yeah. For some reason I started to think it was also out.
Angry Joe did a review of it. He demanded his fucking money back.
The saddest thing is I also did as well. Have you heard of another better game to work with, though? For Free Riders' level of frustration, basically. At something that should have worked. By all rights, it should have worked without huge issues. But the game was so... Due to its flaws, he got his money back. Now, here's the thing. This one isn't the same issues, but it's the same level of frustration. You're hammering your head trying to get around this AI that's screwing you over, that's not helping, that's barely doing its job. Constant times where it's just running against the enemy. Whether it's a big enemy or small, it doesn't matter. It's like they're running against an invisible wall the entire time. And the AI is so bad with its pathing to a point where you cannot count on them to revive you, even when there's literally only one opponent a couple miles back. They'll take their sweet time to get to you, even though you programmed your backup to revive you the instant you die. It doesn't help that character is so hammered and pathetic by comparison because of its AI. Let me give you an example. So, dual-wielding assault rifles is basically the best way to go about the game. You will be busted as all hell. You're basically playing on God mode, alright? That's how overpowered you are because of that. Because now you have all the same firing rate as some of the fastest firing miniguns. You, though, have a second or two. Long loading. Reload. You're done. That's literally it. He just does this motion. And that's how he reloads. It takes seconds to do it. Which means that you're pumping out now even more damage than any minigun can. Ever. The only weapon that comes almost as close in overall damage per second and damage in general is dual-wielding SMGs. I had my backup character dual-wielding SMGs. But because the character's AI is so busted, even though she is no less strong than me in numbers, she doesn't survive half as long. Let me give you the numbers, alright? By the end of the game, I had 150 strength. I had 140 dex. I had over 99 agility. I had a total of 50 or something like that luck. My intel was a total of 10. My character had the reverse. Instead, she had 150 intel. She had basically I think about 140 strength. Do you know what these stats basically mean? Would you like to just know the short version?
Shit.
My characters are as busted, broken, and overpowered as you can possibly get without putting in 100 more hours. And you know what? She still was practically getting one-shotted by level 70 opponents. I'm going to say that again. Level 70s were poning a level 115.
That's not right.
And you know what's... That's not even the end of it. That's what's their base numbers. Without counting their accessories at all. That's base stats. My character had 2 pieces of gear. One augmenting his strength and the other his vitality. Giving me an extra 10 strength and an extra 10 vitality. She had something giving her an extra 35 to her intel and an extra 50 to her agility. And you know what's the sad thing? She was still getting one-shotted by level 70s. You see that reaction right there? That's the tame version of my reaction. The tame version.
Let's put it this way. If I could have a better face tracking, you would see far more disappointment in my face.
It doesn't help that half the time it's so wide and expanse the areas you're covering, but nothing in them. I feel like I've seen more life and more habitation from some of the most dead and empty games in the world. When I finally do find an opponent, it's like almost a Christmas miracle because you're hoping that it's going to be one of the few times where it's something strong, only to find out it's another weak one. Or it's not the monster you were trying to find. Now, yes, there is the map. The map is like acceptable. It's not Doom or Doom Eternal levels of a good map. But it's at least better than some games I've played. But a map isn't a game. A map isn't the big overarching thing that keeps a game together. It isn't. A game is your story.
Combat or whatever the equivalent is plus story.
And you could argue multiplayer a little bit. Although I feel like some games do that part better than others, but still. When it comes down to it, this game, every time I think I might have found something that kind of helps to ease off a little bit, it's immediately followed by something that's trash. Tell me this. Does this sound fun to you? As soon as the game's opening credits roll, and you get your first introduction to 3 characters, you already know who the villain is. Does that sound fun to you? You already know who the big bad is as soon as the game has started. You haven't even finished the tutorial yet.
It's a really big badass, like, say, the Dragon of Dragons Dogma.
No.
Then no.
It is a human. Just some random dude. You don't know anything else about him. He's just some random dude. But you already can tell he's the big bad. Does that sound fun? Yeah, no, I don't think so. And the problem is, though, every time you think you're about to finally catch a break, you're either about to do something cool and awesome, the game ruins it. Either by, like I said in the tutorial, where it reveals who the big bad is pretty effing easily, and doesn't even try to truly hide it well. It goes another mile, though. It introduces you 2 female characters. Granted, the only 2 female characters you get out of the entire game, as opposed to Kirito, who has like 15 or more chicks, who are all into him, mind you, and who are all part of his crew. You have 2 chicks only. Granted, their personalities are different, thank God, or I probably would have punched someone sometime. It's pitiful. Anyways, but you have your 2 picks. You have the childhood friend, and you have the mature One-san. The childhood friend is a tsundere, but not the abusive kind per se, just the kind who calls you names and then runs away. Which one do you want to romance?
Honestly,
you can also go gay if you want, but you can also go gay if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not really worth it.
Personally, it sounds like I would take neither.
I don't blame you. I almost took neither either. But I did choose. And I regretted it entirely. And this part I'm about to bring up is immeasurable spoiler for the game. But at the same time, I'm doing you a favor by just telling you it. So keep in mind all we said about how the game doesn't sound fun. It sounds far more tedious than it's worth. Here's the thing. Doesn't matter which one of the 2 chicks you pick. One of them dies. They die. No matter which one you pick. One of them will die. If you pick the Ara One-san, then the childhood friend is dead. You pick the childhood friend, the Onesan is dead.
That sounds like some Mass Effect bullshit.
I almost wish. Let that sad sense I just uttered sink for a second. I almost wish they would have pulled a Mass Effect. I almost wish they would have pulled some BS crap, garbage freaking pickup color BS fest, alright? I would have rathered that. And I hated that ending more than anything. And I'm also one of the people who downloaded the free fixed ending only to find out that it didn't change anything at all. It was completely...
Oh, I did that too. I was confused. Like, I understood what they had changed, but it didn't really fucking mean anything.
I didn't get a change. I still had the same ending, the same way, the same events that popped off. The exact same. I downloaded a 10 megabyte patch that did and added nothing for me. Nothing.
You have to go through a little bit of bullshit to actually make it.
I did
click,
completionist my first time. It did nothing. Completionist. And it did nothing.
Wait, completionist. So that means that you played through all the others first.
Uh-huh.
Fuck. I did shit like that too so I could get in with Tally better.
That's also the first one I
Romance and Her in 2 and 3 is a pain in the ass if you don't go through 1.
I romanced Tally my first time. I did everything. You pick a thing, I did it.
Also, can I just mention, not being able to see Tally's real face and just giving that shitty picture was stupid.
And it's not
we're also getting off topic again.
It's also just a stock picture, might I add. Just ripped from the internet, blatantly.
But we're also here to talk about SAO, and we've sidetracked 4 times.
We've sidetracked. I can't help it
to
because...
better things, mind you. And that's the big point.
Yeah. I want to play any other... I almost want to play Ride to Hell Retribution more than this. I want you to let that sink. I'd almost rather play that garbage over this. Because at least that game was immeasurably, unquantifiably flawed in every way.
It's like it was made to be flawed.
Yes, it was almost made to be flawed. It was almost comedy how flawed it was. This isn't comedy. This is just sad. This is just disappointing. It's kind of depressing. I had to take 2 days, laid in bed, alright, to recover from how disappointed I was. Because it had potential to be a good game. Even though I'm disappointed, I hate this thing with every fiber of my being, especially since it's just a crap, god-awful tie-in to the anime, which basically cheapens everything, might I add. Just cheapens everything and makes it less meaningful. And it also makes it like that first half was just some side story character who means nothing's big moment to meet the real hero. Every time I think I've found something that's positive, I can't help but just be ripped to shreds for even thinking that it was going to stay that way. I thought bosses, okay, that's going to be this big
like I said
factor.
earlier.
It's not.
You're basically creating the side character for the main character who you don't even play.
And it's not even a good side character half the time. It's the problem. You're not even playing like some, like, this is going to be his new best friend that he relies on most for things. No. You're not. You're not even fit to be on the same level of useless or pointless as Token Black Dude or Samurai Wannabe. You are less on the totem than even them. You made a character for nothing. You made a side character who's not even fit to be even a co-host to the worthless side characters that are waiting in the wing. Like I said, I keep getting sidetracked because it's painful. It hurts. I'm disappointed. I hate what they did. And I hate that I have to completely put a gun to my head just to find something good about it. I had more fun playing the flawed and completely over-monetized Genshin than I did here.
God, and I remember Genshin. I'm glad I stopped.
So
as much as I gave that a decent rating, it wore on me, just like it did you.
Yeah. I'm going to say it again. I loved that game initially. I loved it.
We gave it a glowing review at start.
And now I can't even stomach to look at it. It makes me depressed to look at it. I can barely look at the memes, for crying out loud. And I love memes.
Take a look
And
at the doujinshi.
I I might. I actually might. Suppose there's some good ones out there. These
After
be
all,
good.
Rule 34 is a thing for a reason.
And at
If the
times,
game is trash, rely on Rule 34.
but that's what is
You
sad though.
shouldn't
This
have
game,
to, though.
this game, I feel like its only purpose to exist, the only right it has to exist, is as Rule of 34, and that someone somewhere should have slapped Reki the moment he started to pick up a pen. That's how poorly written this thing is. It feels like it's written not by an actual game writer, not by a script writer. It doesn't even feel like it's made by a writer. It feels like it's made by Reki. And that's the worst part about it, is it screams him. It screams a complete and utter idiot who doesn't know how to write. And I don't like thinking that way. I don't normally like thinking of people in that kind of a way. I normally like to start off neutral with someone and then decide whether or not I like them afterwards. But the writing is so bad here when it didn't need to be. I feel like the entire game must have had that tool hovering over them at every aspect. I shouldn't feel that way. I should never start to question who was the actual one in charge. Was it the developers? Was it the producers? Or was it the scumbag who did the original writing? If I had to describe this game, it is a game that started off on the right foot for like 10 seconds and then got progressively worse and worse until eventually I don't even want to look at the game. And the fact that this game had the audacity to have DLC at all blows my mind.
Or be completely full price as a game. Also, I had a friend who actually I should say was a big fan of SAO. He played the games, all the games, but when he played Fatal Bullet, he returned it in 5 days.
And I don't know who's talking about. Now, granted, I don't think that guy likes me, and I can't 100% blame him because I did kind of talk smack about SAO very blatantly.
You actually know the man.
Yeah, I actually know, and I definitely don't think he liked me. I don't think he liked my opinion of SAO, much less its second arc, which to me, charitably,
Like I said, he used to be a fan.
yeah, it hurts because I wanted to be a fan initially. I wanted to, but because of how poorly it's written, I can't. I can't say anything amazing or wonderful. I can barely find even a single good thing about this game, and that hurts right here because I wanted to love it, and I don't. I hate it with every fiber of my being. That's not pleasant. If I gun to my head how to rate the franchise as a whole, I'd probably give it a 2. That's the franchise to me, at most at times, a 2. The game I just played, Fatal Bullet, is probably a 1. I almost give it a 0 if it wasn't for that character creator. I want you to let that sink. No reviewer gives a game a 0 out of 10. To a reviewer, 0 out of 10 is not possible. SAO Fatal Bullet is probably one of the only games in the entire world where I'm tempted to give you a 0. Because if you're not going to do the game well enough to even be bothered to be considered worth a single second, if a game is so poorly made with so little effort and care put into a point where someone who wanted to like you but can't even be bothered to feel like my rental was worth it even, that's not a good thing. If I rent a game and feel like I just got robbed, that says your game is very piss poor in new, horrible ways. Now, you obviously cannot give a score to the franchise, but based off of what you've seen of the, or not the games, I should say, what you've seen of the franchise, gotta give a score. Where do you put it? Because me, I can't think of anything positive about the franchise even.
You negate the games because I played like 30 minutes of Hollow, whatever the hell it was.
Hollow
Thank God it was $5.
But $5 for a coaster, though, basically. It's not
It
worth
was
being a game.
digital, so I didn't even get the coaster.
Oh, that's depressing. You didn't even get the coaster. Ugh,
No.
that
But the
hurts.
series as a whole, and keep in mind, I watched all the way up until Serialization, I think it's called,
Yeah, which I
which
did
is the
not.
new one.
The new one.
And I would give the series as a whole a 4. But I need to exclude the Gun Gale Online ripoff side story with the bunny girl, because I got to give that a 6.5.
I haven't seen that one, so I can't give that one a score, really. Sadly. Supposedly it's good, which I'll check it out
It's
sometime. I have no
it's the
clue
only
when.
one that's good. You can watch it on Netflix,
Yeah.
sub
It's,
or dub.
it's sad. It hurts because when it first aired for the first time, when I watched it for the first time, when it first aired, for crying out loud, I have to say it twice because it hurts so much, and I try to keep myself from crying a little bit on the inside. There's potential for good anime with SAO, the franchise. There's potential for an amazing game. The problem is, though, is tons more effort has to be put in. Tons more dedication, care, and then finally, the biggest thing is it needs to have absolutely none of the anime or past games in it. It needs to be a literal fresh start. If we keep just kind of pushing it along with what we have, it's never going to be good. It will always be a disappointment. It will always fall short. Always. As long as we keep pushing this narrative where this idiotic tool is the main star and focal point always, we're not going to get a good MC. That won't happen.
Yeah,
As
like
long
if you're
as
gonna do a game in that series with an MC, make them the main character. If you want to know that said character insert here is in the universe, simply just say they're around or have one mission where they show up.
here's the thing. Even if I don't feel like did it the best way, I feel like it's a good example. A really good and ironically relevant answer. To those of you who've played Dragon Age Inquisition, you remember the character from Dragon Age 2 appearing for a short time.
A hawk, if I remember correctly.
Correct. He shows up for a little bit, not because he's the whole main focal point. He shows up for one small
Yeah,
bit where he backs you
he,
up
yeah.
through words. Not he doesn't even really fight much. He fights in one specific fight, and that's it. And
Well,
then he either
technically he's there for the chapter, but I get what you're saying.
yeah, but he doesn't really fight much. He talks mostly.
He helps.
Yeah, he talks it out, and then when he finally helps, it's like during a specific map. I say map, but I guess the word is zone. I guess because it's technically
Just call it a quest line.
yeah,
Be
just
done
call it a
with it.
quest line. Yeah, he shows up for a quest line, and here's the thing: you're not made less important because he's there. You're not. You're still the badass Inquisition leader. You still practically own that beach. You own everything practically, alright? You are boss. And he is whelp. He is small fry nobody by comparison because you are the leader of the Inquisition. Your status is far above him technically. Even if you don't act like you're some prideful, arrogant toolbag, you're still the Inquisition leader, which makes Hawk a nobody by default. Here's the thing. It's not bad enough that Kirito cheapens your impact on the world, your value in the world, your contributions to the world. His group of pocket pussies do the same thing. His meaningless friends which aren't even really friends, they don't get treated like it, and are meaningless, even them, they cheapen you as well. Here's the reason why. Each one of them, all of them, have helped to save the world. All of them have contributed in MC's rise to power, to his saving of the world. What have you or your squad done, really? What have you done? Better yet, What have you done that wasn't completely made into his victory? If you play the game, you already know. Too few. You feel like all of the credit you're earning isn't even yours because him and his whole squad are there saving the world already, saved thousands of people already, cheapening your victory that you just had. No one's in a life or death situation until practically the end of it all, for crying out loud. It's not until practically the end where people are dying all, and that's because of Death Gun, the dude from the anime. Which, like I said, cheapens everything you've done. It starts to raise the question of, why even bother making this game? Ever. Why did you waste money, people, development time, production money, marketing time, marketing money? Why did you waste all of that on a game that you're not even going to ensure is good? Why make a half-baked, half-crap game if you're not going to even try to make it good? Look, Ride to Hell Retribution might have been garbage, but at least it was garbage born from a misguided passion, at least. At least it had that. You can clearly tell that even though the game is garbage, that they wanted to make it good. Even if they failed in every way, they still had the desire there. This doesn't feel like it has desire. It feels like a cash-in, and not even a good one. It feels like it's just kind of there for the sake of being there. It's disrespectful to the fans. It's disrespectful to the gamers. It's disrespectful to everybody. Homie, anything you want to say too?
You haven't said anything that I haven't already thought multiple times. About the anime in general, actually. With the exception of the one that I rate a 6.5.
Which I haven't seen yet. Which I'm hoping that's good. I'm going to check it out sometime. Hopefully.
Oh, it's good. One of the funniest bits is she's got this friend. She wields dual grenade launchers. She gets down on her back like she's about to take some guy's D, and she shoots like no one's business.
Dual grenade launchers, sadly, the game sucks. Which is sad.
It's funny.
I think the thing to end on, the last thing to say, is that the idea of any more SAO games, to me, is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's wasted money. It's wasted effort. It's, as long as we have the garbage brigade, as I call them, or as I also call them, Prick and his pocket pussies, I can't think of anything really that can save this game other than pretty much firing all but two groups. The voice actors for the game did a good job. The game's entirely subbed, which kind of sucks a little bit, because now when you're trying to go through combat, you have to constantly look down to read as you're in a firefight.
No.
Yeah.
It's subbed? They
Yeah.
didn't even dub.
It's entirely subbed. Every tiny bit of it.
Like, I could understand that, and we were talking about this a bit on my stream. I know I mentioned a little bit how Ken, like the Vista of the North Star Ken's Rage game, like Ken's Rage 2, is completely not in dub, but they do it in a way that makes it worth it. Sounds like they don't even fucking give a fuck in fucking Bullet whatever. I forgot the name already.
Fatal Bullet.
I'm not kidding. I forgot. Fatal Bullet. I know it was Bullet something.
Yeah, Fatal Bullet. And here's the thing. You are almost disgustingly right. If it wasn't for the voice actors themselves, who are trying to take this garbage script and make it work, I mean, I feel like I'm being reminded of Destiny a little bit. Remember Dinklebot?
We played Destiny 1 after Dinklebot got patched out, but I watched the videos of it. It's fucking hilarious. The dude had no empathy.
The problem is, that's because of the writing. I want you to try and tell me it would be easy to give the line of, they came from the moon, in a way that's not crap or boring or sounds like expedition dump.
It's also like putting the mage and the defender guy up against Cage 6. Like, those two, they don't have much in the way of personality. Cage 6 has tons.
And the funny thing is, people love to think that it's only Dinklage's fault. They want to believe that the only reason it was such a hard script to work with, that the reason why Dinklebot failed was because of Dinklage. That's not true.
No. His character in his characters he's played in a few shows, like, they have quite the wide range. I mean, just look at the drunk ass, almost dwarfish guy from what was it? Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Great character, lots of range. Dinklebot, though, you can blame only so much on the actor.
Only so much. And what's more is, I've seen this already happen before. I've seen it happen before, multiple times before playing Fatal Bullet. I've learned when to tell when it's the actor and when it's the script.
Oh, we're seeing it right now with Doctor Who for Jodie Whittaker. It's not her, it's the fucking script.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Type O is another garbage ass game.
No,
That's a great example.
Oh, I played that.
I almost completed it, and I hated myself.
And here's the thing. I beat it in less than fucking 8 hours, like maybe 5 or 6. And that's because I didn't do any of the side content that I didn't know was there.
I did lots of the side content aside from hunting chocobos, and I hated myself.
Like, they had top tier actors. Like, you know Matthew Mercer, the guy who runs Critical Role? He was one of those characters. You know what I thought? Who are these guys? I don't know them. And then I find one of them's fucking at Mercer. I'm like, why the hell didn't I know that was him? He's a good actor.
Do you want to know who else is in there? There's a guy who plays Tyson from Beyblade.
Are you fucking kidding me? Tyson was awesome! The fuck did they do?
He played the comedy character. I think his name was like Jack or something like that.
Jack. God, the writing, the combat, even the general story about that was just kind of eh.
The combat could have been saved. The combat was, ironically enough, the easiest thing to save. Because the core basic attacks of how everyone fights a little differently, that's salvageable. Everything else needs to be burned, scrapped, or altered. Other things need to be completely redone.
System.
Huh?
Summoning system, scrap it.
The summoning system actually is an insult more than it is anything else. You should not... For a game where the whole point of the fun was summoning giant badass monsters to fight for you, that was
only dope. To have your characters die for it.
Only to have them die. Especially since if you don't know this ahead of time, you're going to get screwed over like I was and have to start the whole game over again, which pissed me off. At the final boss fight, he'll insta-kill you. He insta-kills.
In the final boss fight, they give you 2 choices. I chose one fight. I was in there for like 40 minutes, and you literally can't win it. And Fatal Bullet. That's the name. Fatal Bullet is so bad that we enjoy talking about these shittier games.
I used to be a Final Fantasy fanboy. Alright? Back when I was younger. I can't be bothered to play their games really anymore. Literally, the last Final Fantasy game I am ever buying again is the remake I just got with someone else's money. Rain's the one who got me friggin' Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I'm never going to buy Remake Part 2. Ever.
He should not have wasted that money because it's a PS Plus this month.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he knew it was going to be on there. Much less this soon.
I feel sorry for Rain, dude.
Same. Let me make this super clear. It is so sad that we'd rather talk about worse and worse games with worse and worse tactics because of how bad this game is. Especially since it didn't need to be. Fix up the AI. Fix up the balancing. Make it so the story is its own isolated, contained thing. And hell, go the extra mile of making sure Kirito and co. don't actually appear in the game at all. Guess what? We have a good game. Let me make that clear. We have the potential for an amazing game if we do that. But that's not what was done. They made an anime tie-in that's so bound in the anime that its opening half is ruined for it. The first half of the game is you trying to help your AI friend reunite with her AI mother. Sounds like it could be a cool game. It is in line with SAO's arguably garbage tenet of the real world and video game world are the exact same thing, with only data being in the way. That's BS to begin with. Now you're trying to force this narrative through a video game as well. And not even doing it well either. I never liked that tenet because to me, it's completely abhorrent. And what's worse, it almost feels like you're mocking people who can't separate themselves from the video game world. It feels like you're mocking them and not even being at least respectful about it. It feels like a blatant
used to
middle
be
finger.
me as a kid, actually. I used to just live and breathe my games because I couldn't deal with all the shit on the outside of the world.
Same. As someone who was literally autistic, that was my escapism, really. And granted, my own autism didn't help that. It only made the problem worse. I further attached myself more than I ever should have. In fact, it took a long time for me to finally hammer myself in the head enough to realize what was going wrong. That it was
I can remember the game that I did that to a lot when I was younger, and that was Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. It is one of my top 10 games, and it's just was so good. My mind was stuck in it. Stuck in the world. I'd rather be there.
If it wasn't for the fact that I was spreading myself so thin, I don't think I ever would have really noticed the problem. I feel like once you have one specific game that you lose yourself in, it's far harder to get yourself out than if you're spread too thin and then you start to see the cracks. If it wasn't for that, I'm pretty sure I would have been lost even more than I already was. Like, I was spread so thin between Digimon, Power Rangers, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, Bleach, on. I was lost in the game world for too long. I had to rip and tear to finally realize what was wrong with me. I'm glad my parents literally got through to me eventually. That they're not
I hate to say this, but I hate to end this self-help session, but it's been over an hour, my boy, and this old Avatar scrub Lord Fu Manchu man is gonna need food soon.
Yeah, sorry it took so long. Dang. We could try and go over this again.
It's a credit to Fatal Bullet and how shit it actually is.
So you want to just leave it as is?
I think that's a pretty good moment.
I mean, this is the longest video I've ever made.
That literally, like, what I just said literally sums up the game. It's so shit, we made a video over an hour about it.
I might use that as a title, to be honest with you. I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to view it. A game so bad, we talked about both how crappy it is and other games for over an hour. Oh, man. Thank you for showing up. Helping me rein myself the F in. Thank you for that. I practically owe you a beer for that.
It was a nice way to test out the Avatar.
Yeah, and we learned a lot in the process too, which is always nice when you learn stuff. Especially, I'm an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing yet.
Scrub Manchu.
Actually, before you even do that.
Oh, my no outro for the stream, Lord?
You're gonna get your outro, but one second. Okay. Check out his channel. Alright. Sub, like, comment, subscribe religiously if you want to. Go to extra mile if you want. Go to Scrub Lord himself, alright? Go to his channel.
Be like Trucktoon. Show up every stream.
Show up to every stream if you're okay with someone who's immeasurably perverted and has no problem saying some of the grossest effed up crap you can imagine. And no, I don't mean him. If they're
subscribed to your channel, I think they're used to it anyway.
I don't think I have subscribers anymore. And I wouldn't blame them.
You have 3, dude.
Oh, cool.
I'm one of them. So technically you have 2.
Yeah.
You got 3. One of them is me, though.
One of them is him. He's not the best such a character. But yeah, definitely check out his channel. Like I said, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. And if you're someone who's from my channel who decides to check out his, I'm pretty sure most of the people who have subscribed are probably subscribed to you already. But in case, definitely subscribe to his channel and say that King gives a shout out. I hope you all laughed at me, laughed with me, smirked at my pain, or maybe indulged in his really awesome avatar that he made.
Thank you.
Now you do your outro.
This has been your Stream Lord, Scrubband Shoe. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a good month. Let's keep this year better than last year. And the fool over next to me will see you on his next video.
See ya.
Later.